Hello everyone, and welcome back to my survival time-lapse series. My name is Illyrio, and today I'm gonna continue working on the big Nether perimeter. It's just a few days after I released the first video, and so the breakers are still around 5000 blocks. And now I'm gonna start working on the first part of the perimeter. I'm saying first part because this perimeter is so long that I can't have just one wall eater for the entire thing. I will explain later why exactly I can't have just one wall eater. But the goal for now is to make the first part, which will be 5000 blocks long, and then once all the bedrock breakers will have finished, I will make the second part, exactly like the first one. As you know, before building the wall eater I will need to make a big trench, and this one will be in the basalt delta, and since it's 1000 blocks long it will be really annoying, but thankfully I can use a machine that will do that automatically. This machine is really similar to the 3x trencher we use to make the small trenches on the side, but instead it will make a trench that will be a lot bigger. And for the wall eater you usually need a 12 wide trench, but for this special wall eater I will need a trench which is a bit bigger, and I think I will go with something like 20 or maybe 24. Because yeah, I'm not gonna use the regular wall eater that you use in the Nether that push the ancient debris down. Instead I will have a wall eater that push the ancient debris on the sides, inside of the trenches, meaning it will be a lot easier to mine all the debris at the end. And I should get around 60,000 ancient debris in total, which is I think around 20 hours of mining. And I don't want to spend the time flying around in the entire perimeter to mine them. It will be a lot easier if they are all in the trenches directly. But more about the wall eater later. Now I will start with the main trench. So I first need to make the space with the machine, and then I will show you how it works, and then I will start it. I have made some space for the trencher. I already have the schematic ready. And I also made the bottom trench, which I have decided to dig. To make the process easier I also had to place beacons, so I have one every 100 blocks to cover the entire area. And I just had a few lava in the way, which I decided to leave, so I just mined the blocks around, so there is no block inside the lava and around it. And the lava here should not block the trencher. I already collected the materials for the trenchers. I will have to build 2 of these. Here I only have the schematic for the first one. And I'm only missing 1 shulker box of slime. And actually for the project I will need around 12 shulker boxes of slime blocks, which I don't have. I'm out of slime. And the issue is that I don't have a good slime farm. I will show you the old slime farm that I'm still using, because I need to finish the nether perimeter before making the new and improved slime farm. So this is the old slime farm. It's only 2 chunks and it's not very fast, but it will have to do for now. So I will have to AFK here for probably 24 hours, and then I will have enough, hopefully. So there was supposed to be a time-lapse, but it didn't work. I'm using a new mod to make time-lapses, and I forgot to enable something. But hopefully it will work for the second trench. Because this one is already done. The first trencher stopped because the TNT cannot explode the blocks anymore, it's landing on top of bedrock. And so I had to stop the second one. I will remove the first one and then run the second one until it reaches here. Then I will just have to remove some of the blocks. And I think since there will be no liquids inside of it, I can just use TNT and it will be quite simple. So I will turn this off and I will build a quick machine to remove the trencher. With this small machine I should be able to remove almost the entirety of the trencher. I still had to remove some of the blocks manually because the TNT needs some space, otherwise it will blow up the machine on top. And in this case I don't care about keeping the materials, because I mean what's the point of making super fast farms if you need to save all the materials every time. Plus it's a lot faster to just destroy them. So yeah, you should assemble the machine and then drop the TNT. Perfect. So this TNT is aligned with this part of the machine, but this one is just 1 block off on this side, so sometimes it won't land on the block, but overall it will be enough to destroy the trencher. And not even 8 minutes later, the trencher is completely gone. Now I will run this one until it reaches the bedrock, and I will remove the remaining blocks, so I will have the first trench complete. And just like that, the first trench is complete. Now I will do the same thing another time for the second trench, and hopefully this time we can have a nice time lapse. I was collecting the materials for the world eater, they are on the bottom right, and I have pretty much everything, or at least everything for the first side. I'm just missing honey blocks and coral fans. Because that's pretty much the only honey blocks I have, so I will need to run the honey farm again. And I think in terms of coral fan, I have a lot of the living one, but none of the dead ones. And I like to have this so it's easier to build a world eater. But thankfully I made a farm for this a few weeks ago, and I think it's a good opportunity to build it. And I don't think I've ever shown my honey farm before, and yeah, it's because it's just this. So I have some honey bottles, but it's really small and so it's really slow. But recently I've started working on one, and actually most of the work is almost done, and there is actually a good chance that by the time this video is out, the honey farm video will already be released. While the bee farm is running, I'm gonna build a dead coral farm, and it doesn't require a lot of materials, so it should be quick. I will build it right next to the normal coral farm, and also next to the all raid farms. In case you haven't seen the farm, I can show you how it works. So you can turn it on here, and then you just need to stand here and attack continuously. And the coral fans will die and be sent to the player. And now the first world eater is almost ready to launch. I say almost because while testing it I realize the trenches are not exactly aligned with the world eater, so I need to extend this side trench. The sweeper are aligned with the trench, but the TNT is too far from the trench, meaning there will be some leftover blocks. So I have to extend the trench one block, so I have to remove all of these blocks here. And so it's not really complicated, I just have to run another 3-wide trencher, but it also means I have to extend the bottom trench. And I started mining it, and I quickly stopped because the trench is full of lava, and so you walk really slowly, meaning it will take a really long time to mine these blocks. And I was thinking maybe there is a way to use flying machines instead of mining the blocks, so I can take these 2 blocks and push them on this side. And I managed to find a way. The first flying machines I managed to design myself, so I'm gonna build them now. So I need a sticky piston here. And so the sticky piston will pull the top block, 1 block on this direction, and then I just need to attach an engine. And this is how it looks. And so I only have to make sure the observers can be triggered by the liquids. So I have 1 observer here, and on the other side the piston is triggered by this redstone block. So I'm gonna start it and build another one for the bottom block. And yeah, I just realized I have to build this one first, otherwise now this block will stick to the slime here and it will break the machine. So I stopped the other one in the front, I will remove it and rebuild it at the back. Okay, everything is good now, this is fixed. And now it's time to build the second flying machine. And so the second flying machine will take these 2 blocks and push them 2 blocks on that direction. And I tried to make something for that, but it's a lot more complicated because you can't really use slime, otherwise it will stick either here or here. And after trying a lot of things, I ended up asking Shinji for help, and he quickly made something for me. And so this machine will have 2 sets of pistons to push the blocks. Then there will be 1 observer to trigger the pistons. Then here we'll have to use some slimeless tech because you can't use any slime blocks. But on this side you can use a slime block, so it will make this part easier. And so that's the machine. And the only annoying part really was to find a good engine that was not too slow and that was also fitting inside of the space here. So let's start it and see if it works, hopefully. Okay, it looks weird, but it seems fine, except the glass block here. Okay, I was just missing 1 glass block, but now it's fixed and the machine is working correctly. And it's kinda hard to see with all the lava around, but you can see that it's pushing the 2 blocks on this side, which is perfect. So it will take some time, but at least it will be a lot easier than having to mine all of these blocks. And hopefully nothing will break. The last thing I need to do before actually launching the world eater is to remove all the obsidian inside of the perimeter. Because unlike other world eaters, this one will break if there is any obsidian in the way. And so I've used the program by JKM and Sweet Babu to check for any immovable blocks inside of the perimeter. It's the same program that I use for the quarry, and I have all the immovables here. The only difference is that I only kept the obsidian and crying obsidian, because all the chests and spawners will get destroyed by the TNT anyway. Okay, so everything is ready and I can finally launch the world eater. I have 2 bots in place to load the world eater and it should be enough. So let's hit the nut block and hopefully everything will work correctly. Okay, everything seems fine for now. Let's see if all the dupers have launched. Okay, so everything seems to have started correctly. And compared to the usual Nether world eater, this one has different sweepers. And as you can see, it has pistons that push in the front. Usually all the ancient debris are pushed down, and so you have to mine them at the end. But here, since the perimeter is so big and it will have a lot of ancient debris, it will be a lot simpler to mine them on the sides. But yeah, I will leave this running and give you some updates every now and then, and for obvious reasons there won't be any time lapses. And after 3.5 days or 82 hours, the world eater has finished. And it took a while because it was around 42 minutes per layer. But now that it's done, We can see all the ancient debris at the end of the wall editor, and it looks really satisfying, especially around Y15. But now that this is done, I want to wait until all the breakers have finished to build a second wall editor. Because I don't want to mine the ancient debris manually, I'm hoping to find a way to do it kind of automatically. I'm working on a machine in Creative along with SG, and the goal is to explain it and show it in another video. So I'm gonna remove the wall editor because I need to make some space for the second one, but except that there is nothing really to do until all the breakers have finished. Okay, so it's now the final stage of finishing this perimeter. I have launched the wall editor 2 days ago and it's now at Y78 I think. The wall editor I'm using here is a bit different than the one I used in the first half for the perimeter, because since I don't have anything on top of the bedrock roof, I can use the simple dupers of the regular wall editors. And those dupers are a lot easier to build, so on that scale it helps a lot. But I also changed the sweepers, because since last time there has been some development with this wall editor, and it now has an end gate. So if we take a look at the machine, we can see that the wall editor has an end gate now, which means it's a lot more complicated to build. It was more effort, but I wanted to test it to see how viable it would be. And I think it's worth it if you have a big perimeter. I don't want to spend any time looking for obsidian, but if you have a small one, it's easier to just look if you have one portal because they are pretty rare, and then just remove it and there is no chance that the wall editor is going to break. And also this wall editor is now public, this version and also the one without the end gate, So there will be a link for it in the description. It has been designed by SG and divided. And MSPT wise, it runs around 40 MSPT usually. And it's quite nice, especially for this scale, it's 1K wide. And this is mostly thanks to the hosting service I'm using, which is Kinetic Hosting. So if you want to have a Minecraft server that runs 24/7, that is cheap, and that has a lot of options, you should definitely check the Kinetic website. There will be a link for it in the description, and with my code you can have 15% off of your first month. I've been using it for like 6 months already and never had any issue, and that's really what made running these machines possible. It would have been hard to make any large-scale project without hosting my single-player world on a server. Before showing you the completed perimeter, I'm gonna take the time to thank Minifraga and build them a statue. In case you don't know, you can download the survival world and explore it just by becoming a member of this channel. The tier 1 to have access to this world is only $2, and if you get the tier 3, I will build a statue of you in my survival world. This statue will be in my base, next to the other one, and will have your head as well as your favorite block. It's very hard to get a sense of the scale, but this perimeter is now completed. It's 1K wide and 10K blocks long, and it's one of the biggest nether perimeter ever made in survival. In total it took 9 months to complete this perimeter, and most of it was just the bedrock breaking, and also took my time to finish it because I usually work on a lot of projects at the same time. But now what's the plan with this perimeter? Well, I will actually build a lot of farms in it, but most of it will still be empty, and that's why I want to decorate it. I know it's gonna be a big task because this is a very big area, so I want to make it as automated as possible. But that, as well as collecting the debris, will be a topic for another video. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you soon.